We broadcasting? All right. Hello to all of you today. This is your Captain Nightwing speaking, and on this episode of 420 Conspiracies, I'm going to start something off a little differently. I want you to put down your e-cigs or whatever you may be puffing on at the moment, and just listen to me real quick. When I say John F. Kennedy, what comes to mind? Government assassinations. And let me say something else. We ended last part saying, the reason Jonah Hill is front by the Canadian maple syrup cartels, and we listed some reasons and explanations. And we ended the webisode with the way that we can stand up to this. But at that same token, this might be the same exact thing that makes it shit hit the goddamn fan. And that would be if Jonah Hill got assassinated like JFK.
Now for some backstory. This is going to blow some of your minds. In 2006, Australian Steve Irwin was murdered, allegedly, by a stingray. That same year, what was Jonah Hill doing? Coming out and making the acclaimed film Accepted. Now, I don't accept this. You shouldn't accept this. This is ridiculous. Steve Irwin, by all accounts, has been spotted at least 23 times in at least 7 different countries since that date.
And I mean, we have the most prolific sighting taking place in New Zealand on Christmas Eve. They were filming the Hobbit, and if you look, I don't know if we'll be able to pull up the image, but if you zoom into a picture next to Gandalf in the background, you can see the crocodile hunter himself hiding amongst the trees, and we'll try to pull that up for you, but I digress.
Now, obviously, hopefully that picture doesn't get taken down. When we first put up this YouTube video, it was there. But NSA, other secret government organizations who I can't even really say the name of on this broadcast without getting myself in serious, like a life-threatening situation, obviously have their reasons to not show that evidence. But what's important here is what the Steve Irwin false flag did for Australian. We like to call it created this thing called Australian sympathies.
And this Australian sympathy is literally just to make people feel bad for Australians who, are basically aliens to me. I call them Australian aliens because they are not human. And look what Australian sympathy has gotten us. It's gotten us Iggy Azalea, arguably the most terrible speaker of the English language on this planet, but yet she is hailed by the youth today as the queen because you want to know what? You want to know something? I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say this. The Canadian maple syrup cartel is in bed with the Australian aliens and the Australian sympathy movement so they can basically take over America. They want to take away your guns. Iggy Azalea, Jonah Hill, the Canadian maple syrup cartel, they want to take away your guns, whether they're Nerf guns or water guns or the guns that you shoot people with like Dick Cheney did. They want to take them away, and we will not stand for this.
Now, y'all might be thinking that why would the Canadians need to do this? They already have Justin Bieber, they have Drake, they already seem to be in a good place, they have enough sympathies to make their move. But need I remind you, the Australians already had Hugh Jackman? Sometimes enough is not enough. You need to get as many cards on the table. We've all played poker. It's all about having the most cards.
And I think that translates. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! You play poker, tomato. It's all, I understand the secretive aspect of the sport, but I digress. Let me tell you something. Do you want to know what in the 70s and the 80s, the Australians tried the same shit, but the prototype of Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, was the movies about Crocodile Dundee. He was the failed government-inserted prototype because back in the 70s and 80s, we cared about our Second Amendment, and we stood up. We didn't take that fucking propaganda, but now we're just letting the Canadian maple syrup cartel and the Australian aliens manipulate us just so in front of us. Like, does anyone in their right mind really think that Justin Bieber and Iggy Azalea are the two greatest artists? And the scary thing is a lot of people do. A lot of people are sheep. They're just being herded like a bunch of sheep cattle just to jump off the cliff and lose their Second Amendment right because of this.
It's ridiculous. What do we know so far? We know the Australians did something similar in 2006 that led to Iggy Azalea eventually becoming a pop icon. And we know there's a strong possibility of them killing off Jonah Hill, the hologram, the same way they did Steve Irwin. Now, what are the implications of that? In part 4, we're going to talk about the Canadian Master Plan.